Hi, everyone. My name is Lamees Hamdan, and I am an integrative medical doctor. And I am so excited to have with me today Chef Silvena Rowe. Now, I've known Chef Silvena for so many years. She's a good friend, not only of me, but also of my family's. And I just want to give you a quick bio before we dive in, because I've got so many questions to ask you. Now, biohacking chef and integrative nutritional health coach, Silvena Rowe. Chef Silvena specializes in longevity protocols and is an expert in female hormone optimization with foods, and she has published 13 cookbooks. She is a rotating MasterChef judge on the popular worldwide TV culinary show and is the leading wellness chef in the region. Chef Silvena is in the process of building a franchise business called The Dose by Silvena, and her healthy desserts are available on Deliveroo, and it's called Sweet Dose by Silvena. And I've tasted your dessert. Why we love inviting Silvena over to our house is that she never comes empty-handed, and she always has like this healthy, yummy, usually chocolatey dessert.
It's my thing.
So let me say that you are a grandmother of 2 grandchildren, and I've known you for maybe over 10 years, and I have to say, you've never looked better.
Thank you.
Have never looked better, and I want to know, and I'm sure we all want to know, your secrets. Now, you've always been a chef that specialized in healthy eating, healthy food. So you've always had that healthy angle and belief in food as medicine, but you've taken it up a notch or two. I mean, you're talking about tinctures now, you're talking about adaptogens, you're talking about these really important superfoods and adding it to how we eat and what we eat. You also do a lot of sauna, a lot of mindfulness, Tell me, and I think everyone wants to know, what was your journey like to get to where you are now?
Let me first of all, thank you for having me. I also have known you and watched you through the last 10 years or the years I've been in Dubai, and you are a true inspiration in the sense that you really breathe and speak your truth. It shows on you, it shows in your lifestyle. I know your family, everything is so wholesome. And this is inspirational in every single way. And I'm not just saying that because this is really so. And
by the way, she doesn't just say anything.
No.
She really tells you the truth. And that's why we love her.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I don't miss my words. And some people get upset, but hey, when you reach to my age, you can't take no longer prisoners. You have to say it as it is and move on, because life is exciting. I don't say life is short. I say life is exciting. So alhamdulillah, things are really great. Things are really good. Basically, my journey started that I've always been a chef, and a very good chef at that, because we chefs, we are different. Everybody has their own specialty. Everybody has their own passion, and you cannot be a chef without a passion. However, I very early on realized that I can make it to break it for you. I can, with every bite I give you, I can either invite or disinvite disease, And suddenly, if you're a chef and if you realize the power you have, the power of the real medicine, the food, then you realize that you can create an amazing environment for yourself, like amazing epigenetics. And now we for sure know that our genes are great if we're lucky and if we won the gene lottery and we have amazing genes. But then again, if you're unlucky and you have terrible genes from your parents, various horrendous cellular health implications and inflammation and indicators, it doesn't matter. Only 20% it matters. 80% of the time, it's epigenetics.
I was just going to say that. Like Silvena said, if you think you got, this family history of that or that, it is 20%. The way your genes express themselves to disease or health is what you eat and your lifestyle. And I think that's what you do. You give lifestyle medicine. You give food as medicine.
Yeah. And what I realize is that I didn't want to age. By aging, I mean I didn't want to lose my energy. Energy is the ultimate currency here. And I'm a keynote speaker around various very prominent events around the world where I have my favorite subjects to talk about. And one thing you notice when you go to these events, when you talk to people that actually take care of themselves in the same way that you and me do, in the same way that you and me, we preach, there is something, there is this level of energy. The vibe, the vibration in the room is different. And I'm not into this Hollywood, vibes and crystals and all that. I really believe in the true goodness, in the true information that certain piece of food will give me. And this is what I obey. So my rule has always been live long as chronologically as possible, but stay young as long as possible. So my biological age, which has been measured now 3 or 4 times, and I stopped because, it just doesn't matter. You know your biological age, the way you feel and look. Now, my chronological age, inshallah, will keep growing. And my biological age will stay young and vibrant and full of vitality and strength and desire and passion, something that you want to revitalize everybody around you. You want to charge people around you, just like I do with my own family and those that are close to me. And I always say, if you're my friend, you are blessed by God, because it's about giving. And I'm a giving person, because the more I give, the more I receive. And but if you're my not friend, my enemy, then you really lose out, because at the end of the day, we need to surround ourselves with people that elevate us, that lift us up. And we know that. We talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk. So now I'm in a situation in which I am this woman, this amazing woman, just like you are, of certain age, and I possess something called wisdom. And wisdom with me becomes more and more prevalent, more and more prominent, because I have the chronological ears. And a younger woman who looks amazing, who looks after herself, who's strong, full of energy, she hasn't got wisdom. So I have this wisdom, but I also have the biological age of a younger woman. And if we women understand that we can achieve this incredible ratio, this incredible balance, this is such a win-win formula for us, for ourselves, for our husbands, for our lovers, for our families, for our everyone. And this is my strength now, because I realized a few years ago that I can do that. So I keep doing it, and the more I'm doing it, the more it's happening. And it's through various ways that I achieve this this strength. And it's a strength because you are working on this. And if your brain and your data connected, like they are, as we know, then you know the signals that you send from here, and vice versa. And it works.
So I'm hearing that your mental attitude is just as important as also the food you eat and the exercise that you do. You just told me that you took up weight training and you've never felt stronger and healthier. And I think that's something that a lot of women tend to forget, that muscle mass is important. It doesn't mean that we're bulking up, but it just means that you need to preserve your muscle mass, however you do it. But after a certain age, it's weight training that is the most effective. I mean, yoga, Pilates, all are good, but I think that you need to put a little bit of weight training in your exercise regime. Now, I love the way you said, because I usually go, oh, this is anti-aging, but I think what I loved about you is that you said this is energy giving. And it's true, like energetically, I feel 18. I might not look 18, I look pretty good for my age, though.
Yes,
but, you know, I just feel 18. Mentally, I feel 18. Physically, I feel 18. So it is the energy that is given. And I think foods play a very important role. You're an integrative nutritional coach. And what kind of foods do you think, what kind of foods are the most important to be making sure we eat at this moment? When I was in medical school 30 years ago, it was really important to make sure that we weren't smoking, that we were, just, I guess smoking and alcohol were the big things. But now it is stress and inflammation. These are the major agers, to put it that way. So what foods should we be making sure we eat these days, in your opinion?
for me, nutrition is a queen. For me, nutrition is what I know, what I understand. And even as a coach, my niche is nutrition. But nutrition, it's an area that actually expands and connects to so many fields in our life. A good nutrition will afford you a very healthy, strong, solid mental health, because the foods we eat, they carry the right information, not the wrong information for us. You know, Lamees, the problem is being that people don't realize that you simply are that what you eat. We hear it so much, but nobody really think about it. Why? Because by the time an expression of certain inflammatory condition comes, it's too late. It's very late to turn back the clock. And now we know that Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, they begin in our 30s and 40s. It's proven now. You know, they say that the elements, the seeds of this illnesses, whether you have them genetically, if you have them genetically, perhaps it's a little bit more prevalent. But even if you didn't, they begin very early on, and it's all connected to epigenetics, to lifestyle.
You know, when you say early on, some people, I don't mean to frighten people, but even when you
let's frighten people.
When you have, fetus, when you're in your mother's stomach, your mother's food, your mother's mental health, your mother's overall general health will affect you epigenetically, even while you're a fetus. So for me, what I like to do is like easy things that my followers can add to their diet that really pack a punch. And for me, it is half a cup of berries. Make sure you're having half a cup of berries a day, some sort of dark greens, because it's very protective, and flaxseed, just because of the omega-3s. We're not eating enough omega-3s, and it's really protective. What are the things that maybe you would say to someone on the street, just make sure you are eating X, Y, and Z?
First of all, I would say let's then concentrate on foods that are rich in antioxidants. Why? Because people do not eat well. I don't care who says what. People in general do not eat well. They're guilty of eating foods that don't necessarily carry, they're not nutrient dense, let's call it like that. So I also, for many years now, for maybe 5 years, I have a routine. I love routines. We humans are a creature of habit. So the blueberries are very important. Try and get them organic. Now, I don't want to sound elitist at all, and we and me are going to sound very elitist because blueberries are very expensive, are not on the market. But think about it now. Do you want to spend money now on your health, or do you want to spend money later on your illness when you become a burden for your family and when you become a financial burden?
Do you know what I do? I know blueberries are very expensive, especially here in the Middle East. I take frozen blueberries.
Yes, frozen. They even say they're actually
better,
richer on antioxidants. So blueberry is very, very important. Try not to process it in a smoothie, because even smoothie is processed. I eat them now with hands full, every day, because it's the best nootropic. It's the best food for the head, for the brain. But also it's amazing because it contains something called anthocyanins. And anthocyanins are prolific antioxidant that is phenomenal for the skin, for the collagen.
Now, let's just talk a little bit about the words we're using. We understand it perfectly. Nootropics are basically things that have been shown to be effective at brain health and brain cognition.
That's right.
What are free radicals and what are antioxidants? Well, antioxidants are things that scavenge and neutralize free radicals. Free radicals are produced by the body as a byproduct of just normal bodily functions. Your body can take care of some of the free radicals that are produced, but because of pollution, because of stress, and because of other conditions, your body can produce more free radicals than you can mop up, and then you have a problem, which is inflammation. And what do they do? Why are they so bad? They're unstable chemicals, and they tend to damage cell membranes and other structures. They're linked to disease and certain types of cancer. Now, evidence is suggesting that supplementing with antioxidants like, A, C, E, whatever you find in the multivitamin pills, don't do as good a job as the antioxidants that are in food, especially like the one that Chef Silvena mentioned, which is anthocyanins found in blueberries. So that's part of the reason when I make my vitamin C or my cocoa collagen or any of my supplements, I put real food as antioxidants. So I've used cocoa powder, turmeric, and maca in my collagen. In my vitamin C, I put organic blueberry powder and acerola cherry powder because food-based antioxidants are more effective at mopping up your free radicals than normal ones.
I personally rely on foods because it's foods what I understand. And why I think people like to listen to me is because, like a doctor, I say it very simply, very ordinarily, without the jargon. But it's important for people to remember one simple thing. Antioxidants, if you take enough and if you crowd out the rest of the food, you are already onto a winning streak. So you don't need to be perfect. You need only clean foods and antioxidants and polyphenols and phytonutrients and all this kind of thing. But to answer your previous question, so blueberry is number one. Walnuts very important because it's amazing food for the brain. Pomegranate, you know what I used to do? I will give you my story. I used to eat a lot of pomegranate, but I used to juice it thinking, oh, it's fine. It's not like orange juice. It's not like mango juice, never mind the color is here. And what happened? I was trying to actually feed my gut. I was trying to feed the most prevalent bacteria in our gut that consists between 3 and 4%, the Akkermansia. I've called it the queen bacteria because it's so important. It's in the mucus. It's in the lining of the gut. And unless you have a good gut, you have no collagen. Gut is connected to collagen 100% because you're a collagen expert. And that's why I'm saying it. Gut is connected to everything. So I love my gut. I look after my gut. My gut is this wonderful galaxy full of humming stars and moons and suns. And I look after it so well. I feed it so well. I feed, first of all, and most of all, my gut. So pomegranate juice. And then I went to test my Akkermansia, fine. And I then realized, no, do not just eat the seed because the seed itself is very important. So Akkermansia, it's one of these bacteria that cannot be fed by supplement. I don't care who says what. I looked into it very closely because I studied these ingredients and I read every expert on the subject, even the one that are commercialized and have something to sell you with pomegranate. I will tell you that there are certain elements of our body that can only, molecules that can only be fed with food, and very few of them. So I'm not, and I take plenty of supplements. I like my supplements, but I'm very careful in what I take. So pomegranate, walnut, flaxseed, grind in my case.
Can we just say about flaxseed, you have to grind it because if you don't grind it, it just goes straight through. And I don't know about you, Silvena, but I grind it and I use it within the hour because it oxidizes very quickly unless you put it in the fridge. Some people say you can use it for a day, but I like to do it.
I try not to really go to such perfection. I know you can, when you can, I've seen you what you do, but in a busy lifestyle, come on, let's be honest. Most people just take it even as a seed or they put it in a smoothie as a meat. No, try to at least get it ground, like freshly ground once a week from somewhere,
Okay.
I think it's good like that. Then the black seed. For me, the black seed is number one.
That's important because
black seed is number one.
It's, black seed had its moment a few years ago, black seed oil and black seed, and everyone was taking it. And like all things, it became a fad, unfortunately. And, we stopped hearing about black seed. I've gone back to black seed. I like it. I take about 10 a day and I just chew it really, really well.
I take about 20, 30, 50. No, I take a lot. I just take a spoon.
And how do you take it? Just like that?
Crunch, crunch, crunch. I love it. I love the taste of it. I take it every day. I don't even add it to my meals, But I just take it on its own because I take lots of other seeds for other different things, It's interesting you should say about the bitter greens. The bitter greens are very important because they say bitter on the tongue, sweet on the liver. Very important.
Absolutely.
And I had a situation with my liver, and my liver was grown to only 17 centimeters. Normally it should be 15, 16, but I'm 12. So my liver should be bigger. If you're a smaller person, liver is smaller. However, it wasn't a big deal, but I didn't like the idea of it. So I started taking milk thistle seed, not oil seed, because try and eliminate as much as possible oils. What we do at the dose, and I'm going to throw this in because it's very important, I have eliminated in all my Lamees by Silvena restaurants all seed oils. I do not use seed oil. I only use olive oil. Even my fries are fried in specially selected high burning point olive oil. Now, some purists will come and say, no, don't use olive oil, use tallow. No, I don't use tallow because I have vegan people as well. You know, ghee, I love ghee, but not so much the flavor of ghee, to be honest.
So let's talk about that. I want to first ask you your black seeds. Do you take them on an empty stomach or just any time?
No, anytime.
Me too.
Many times.
You know, don't complicate your life. You don't need to. There are very few things that you have to take at a particular time or in a particular way. Black seed is not one of them. You can take them any time. I get asked that quite a lot.
Yeah.
What, you know, and when I go to people's kitchens and they're like, oh, Dr. Lamees, we want to be healthier. I'm like, first thing, what do you cook with? What oils do you cook with?
Disaster.
And disaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sunflower oils or things that I would never touch. There are 3 oils that you can cook with. And it is basically olive oil. And I agree with Chef Silvena, you can actually use olive oil even for high burning points. Number 2 is any sort of beef oil, either ghee or tallow or whatever it is that you have in your culture. And number 3 is coconut oil. I don't like the taste of coconut oil, so I don't use it as much, but you can. So for me, these are the 3 oils really you should be cooking with. All the other seed oils, don't use them as oils, use them as seeds. So macadamia, have it as macadamia. Avocado, have it as avocado. So I don't know what your take on cooking oils, because everyone wants to know.
Simply, they're industrial oils. They spray the crops with variations of seed oils. They are introduced in the late 1940s. They are man-made. They're cheap and cheerful, and not even that cheap anymore, and they're extremely disastrous. Let's just say
disastrous. I agree. I don't use strong words so much, but I would say that
they are. And why they're disastrous? Because they stay in your body between 2 and 3 years. You cannot get rid of it.
It's almost like plastic. It's almost like ingesting.
It stays there. So it creates a perfect environment for the perfect storm of any inflammatory disease that may happen.
And it's pro-inflammatory.
Yes, big time, because it's omega-6, very rich in omega-6. Plus, that the way it's treated with all these chemicals and bleaches and it's heated, then it's frozen, then, oh my God, it's totally messed up, you know, in a big way. Now, with olive oil, also you have to be careful. But if here in this region, we are lucky, we can get a good, trusted olive oil. And if you're in Europe as well, be careful, because a lot of mixing going on. But hey, it has same thing with honey, same thing with everything nowadays, you know. We just have to keep our eyes open. So basically, yes, I would say, very strongly, I would suggest that the most important thing for me, as much as I love my proteins, are my plants. I'm very, very, very plant-based because I love plants. I love the phytonutrients. I love the nutritional density of plants. And I eat on a daily diet. I try to have at least 25 to 30 plants in one day in my diet. And
that's amazing, yeah.
But let's be honest, this is me because I'm a chef. Now, you're a doctor, so, you know, doctors things, you know. So we all know what we know in our sphere of expertise.
What I do is I make it easy on myself. I would like to have 50% of my plate to be some sort of plants, and then 25% some sort of protein, and 25% some sort of whole grains. And I always have I eat my plants first, and then my protein, and I leave the carbs for last, because what I'm trying to do is optimize my sugar or blunt the sugar spikes, and I tend to spike very high for some reason.
I don't enjoy that so much. This is not a tasty way of eating. I know this goddess, whatever her name, the Purity, she's amazing. Lulu is amazing. I have no problem with her. She's amazing. And you know, she had a lot of troubles. And I have to tell you that, alhamdulillah, I never had troubles. I just decided to remain and to be a better version of myself. But everybody who talks, Dave Asprey, Mark Hyman, they nearly died, 1 foot in the grave, you know, and suddenly, boom, they came back to life because da-da-da-da. So I believe the goddess, glucose goddess, what they call
glucose goddess, yes.
She had some sort of very big problem. You don't need to wait to have a problem. Prevent it. It's all about prevention. So basically, I don't enjoy, I'm sorry, I'm a chef. If I want to mix my food, I will mix my food. I will watch what I eat. I reduce the sugar. I greatly reduce the sugar. I don't touch nothing in my kitchens has refined sugar.
Now let's talk about sugar.
Yeah.
Because sugar is a major ager, and it is the one thing that I find people have difficulty getting out of their diets, or just leaving. And also there are so many sugars being very sneakily added to food, and that's why we say no processed food. But sugar also causes the cross-linking of collagen, resulting in your skin being stiff and non-elastic. So I always tell people, if you are going to, if you don't believe me about giving up sugar, at least do it for beauty's sake. And imagine if it's cross-linking your collagen and making it stiff and non-elastic in your skin, imagine what it's doing in your joints. I know you use sugar, or how do you get sweetness, Silvana? That's another thing. I use in my formulations stevia, monk fruit, at home. Maple syrup is a good sweetener. How do you get that? Because you make, desserts. What is it? The Sweet Dose by Silvena on Deliveroo, which everyone can have. How do you make your sweets or desserts sweet? What do you do? What's your favorite?
We're very transparent. I have now learned one thing, and I will tell you what is the best thing in the world to do, because every type of sweetener carries its own negatives. So the glycemic index is raised differently for different people. So some people find that eating even reduced amount of white sugar does not raise the glycemic index as much as that honey does and maple syrup does. So you need to ascertain for yourself what you need to do. Now, at the Doors by Silvena, and what I cook in general terms, is that I will make the most voluptuous, seductive, luxurious, incredible, dreamy desserts, but I will reduce greatly the sugar. Say, for example, I have this to die for carrot cake. And I'm sorry, carrot cake, all carrot cake is its oil, in most cases sunflower oil, and sugar. So my carrot cake, the recipe I take that I really love, has about 400 milliliters of oil, seed oil, and then about 800 grams of sugar. Of course, I rework that. I clean it. I reduce the sugar down to a minimum. I change the oil completely. I do all this reparative work, and the cake is still delicious. It's still amazingly moorish, but without actually depriving you from the goodness of it. Because some people like sugar. There's nothing wrong with a bit of sugar as long as you don't go overboard. Now, I'd say maybe 20% of my desserts are with a greatly reduced amounts of sugar. And this is now the world the world trend. Like for all the biggest producers in the world, industrial producers of ice creams and cakes, they actually hire scientists not to just give you addictive but the ones that really want to be on the cutting edge of producing no quality and wholesome desserts. They hire nutritionists and professor specialists to reduce the amount of sugar, to play with the whole chemical formula, and to create something tasty. Having said that, I use honey, but only for the raw desserts, because I love honey sometimes, and it says there. Maple syrup I love as well. Agave I avoid. I just don't love agave. Stevia, monk fruit. Monk fruit is not really monk fruit. Monk fruit is mixed with various alcohol sugars. I think 90% of the monk fruit you buy has a different ingredient, and only 10% of monk sugar.
You have to just make sure, just like before, stevia used to be mixed with stuff, but now you can find pure stevia. But stevia is not nice to cook with.
Stevia,
I know a lot of chefs
stevia dries the cake.
Yeah.
Stevia is very good for cream cake, cream desserts. If you make mahalabia, if you make panna cotta, if you make tiramisu, you can make stevia. It's very good because it does not dry. Yeah. But with monk fruit, it's very good. But monk fruit, just like stevia, it's 300-400 times the sweetness or something. So awesome.
I want to go back to when you said, I like to feed my gut, because I thought that was just exceptional. And I loved your positioning that, I want to feed the bacteria that do so much for me, because, it's mood boosting. There's a huge amount of disease fighting potential in taking care of your gut. So I know you said you want to feed it and you can only feed it with real food, which was like the pomegranate seeds. What are the other of a supplement? While I prefer to take probiotics in the form of food, like I use a 24-hour yogurt where you just let the bacteria multiply for 24 hours before eating it, because usually yogurt just needs 7 hours to set. So what are your favorite and most important gut feeding foods that you think we are, not getting enough of?
I'm from Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is the only country in the world ever that introduced and can be claiming the claim for yogurt.
Yes.
Because the bacteria in the yogurt is called Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So, Honeywell, the French companies, the Greek companies, I'm sorry, let's put it straight. Let's put it straight. Like, what is true is true. It's just that the communists at the time could not protect the know-how. And so, even nowadays, Japan still sends an airplane, I don't know how often, to Bulgaria to get the culture live, take it back to Japan to make it live there. Because live culture is everything. So live yogurt is amazing, great. I personally, on a daily basis, take fermented cabbage. I love cabbage. I ferment my own cabbage at home. And here in Dubai, it ferments very quickly, very quickly. So I do my own cabbage that I ferment, organic cabbage. So I have it with, it doesn't go with everything, but I have it with every meal. I also make my own kefir as well. I make my own kefir water and make my own kefir yogurt, which is super easy because it's so important. It has all the right fermented elements for your gut. So I always say one of the most important things is to include fermented food in your diet daily. So that's what I do. And to be honest with you, the kimchi is a bit too spicy for me. I don't, I take it if I eat in a restaurant, I will have it in a restaurant, but literally, I have elements of food that they have to be, if I eat a burger, I have to have this element of food in there.
Yes.
Say, for example, imagine you having the most incredible burger, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially the ones I make at the doors. And I only say that because I take care of every single little ingredient. So if I fill it up with ingredients that crowd out what a burger may seem to be as a negative, then that's fine, that's fine. I load it usually with a lot of avocado, which gives you a lot more, not just potassium, gives you a lot more nootropics because it's a food for the brain as well. Then the beef is always grass-fed, always with me, so I know what I'm eating there. And the bread, I cannot have a burger without the bread. I don't these mushroom burgers and these leaf burgers. I like my bread in a burger, and there's nothing wrong if I can have a nice brioche roll as well. So literally, with the gut, the most prolific food for me, and number one for me, is the one I eat every day, is broccoli sprouts. I consume 75 grams of broccoli sprouts on a daily basis, but caution, must be exercised. It's not for people that may have thyroid problems. Alhamdulillah, I don't have a thyroid problem. I never did. As a matter of fact, about 5 years ago, I had goiter. My mother had goiter. It's this big ball here that moves. So I was doing TV and I have this ping pong going up and down, and it's growing, that thing. So I had checks up and everything. Everything was fine, no problem. But it did not look good cosmetically. And also I began to have problems swallowing, and I'm very greedy. I like my food, so I like to eat a lot. So this was obstructing my eating process and speed. So I literally, when the doctors here said, if you have problem, we'll remove the thyroid. And I said, okay, I can live without the thyroid. What's the problem? So when the doctor removed half of it, sent it for biopsy, alhamdulillah, nothing wrong, which I knew, but still, alhamdulillah. And the doctor said, oh, you probably will be on now supplements. Nothing. Why nothing? Because I always took care of what I eat and how I eat. So I live with half thyroid. My T3, T4, my all hormones are fantastic because of the food I eat.
Now, talking about hormones, you're an expert in treating female hormones through food.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of people who have thyroid issues. They have PCOS. Can you just talk a little bit about, if you have, like you said, if you have thyroid issues, you don't want to be overdoing it on the broccoli sprouts. How confident are you in being able to treat someone with thyroid issues with food? And what are the big takeaways? What are the things that you say, this is what you should be doing, this is what you shouldn't be doing? And then I want to ask you the same questions for PCOS, because I think a lot of our viewers...
It's easier for PCOS, I will tell you that now. But yes, it's easier. Right, so a lot of women have a very silent thyroid problem. They actually don't even know. A lot of women don't go and test it.
Can I say something? I'm finding that more and more people are having thyroid issues because of, the pollution, radiation, et cetera, but also don't forget the mercury amalgam fillings that you have that may or may not be affecting your thyroid. So if you do have amalgam fillings, please go to a functional or biological dentist and see if you can get them removed. But don't remove them with a normal dentist, because they'll be just spreading the mercury everywhere. Yes.
Yeah. Well, for me, the most important thing in thyroidism and thyroid is actually food. Most people, most women, I will talk about women because I read a lot about women and I know a lot about women, and the clinic that I'm going to be part of, it's all about women.
Can you just tell us where this clinic is? It's in Dubai, just in case someone wants to.
No, this is an amazing clinic. It's going to open around September time. It's gyneco. It's gyneco. The word comes from gyne, which is like a Greek word for woman, hence gynecology. So it's very interesting clinic. It's very cutting edge on the front of regenerative medicine. It's all about enhancement of female sex hormones, really, because they're very important. They're the biggest, just as male sex hormones, the biggest indicator of longevity. If you forget about them, you're all the way downhill. Good luck, So it's going to be in Emirates Hills. And we will also be seeing men as well, because we have another facility next to us called Kinesis that men can come, or we can go and see men there. So, and I will be like the integrative nutrition health coach there that will deal much more on the nutrition, on the secondary side of health.
I know you say secondary side of health, but as a doctor, I want people to know just how important nutrition is in dealing with certain, actually all diseases. So especially thyroid. We were talking about thyroid, and a lot of people, as Chef Silvena said, do have this silent thyroid issues. And I think that knowing what you have and dealing with it nutritionally first, or in addition to medication, is really important. A lot of doctors just give medication and don't really bother trying to balance it using nutrition, just telling them to avoid this and avoid that, and here's a pill and you're okay.
You see, the reason I call it secondaries because they already have the primary disease.
Okay.
They already have a problem with their mental health state. They have a problem with something in a stressing level. And the thyroid is an expression of this problem. So the thyroid is not the root. The thyroid is the symptom of the root of this problem. So inshallah, the doctor and the functional medicine doctor will talk about this, and then they come to me because we need to address it at some length. And the beautiful thing about problems with thyroid is that if they detect it early, they can be reversed. It is reversible, just like, say, certain forms of diabetes, as we know now, and very early forms of Alzheimer's. They are all reversible with a proper diet. So basically, this is what we will be doing, and we will also be opening clinics when the doctors opening clinics. I'm only too happy to be attached because, you see, through my career, I realized that I need to be attached to doctors. I work so much with doctors. I learn so much from doctors, just like they've learned from me as well. So now we are combining forces and we're giving the full package to someone, because if the doctor addresses it, then I can just the journey can be continued, and you're changing your outlook of life, of yourself, of your family, and you're becoming a different, better person, happier person in so many levels.
Now, when you said it's easier to treat PCOS, that's good news for a lot of people, because I know a lot of people do have PCOS And, it is a journey, and, lifestyle and food play a very important part. What are maybe a few really important tips that you think people with PCOS need to know?
See, the reason it's easy is because they can indulge in cruciferous vegetables there.
And it's very protective.
They can go for the dark leafy. They can go for vitamin E, vitamin C, so almonds, avocado, leafy greens, red peppers, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, vitamin C, strawberries, kale, also carotenoids, beta-carotene, lipocene-rich vegetables, fruit diets, that kind of thing. Selenium, Brazil nuts, for example, like barley and brown rice. So this is for the vegan people, as well. Then there's the zinc with the sesame, pumpkin seeds, the black seed, the chickpeas, which I don't love, but very good for vegan people. Just don't prefer.
Yeah, you don't love them because you don't like the taste.
It's just not preferred. Although I do make a very nice hummus, but it's just not my thing, chickpea. I find it a bit like, very difficult to sex it up, even in a hummus. So lentils, cashew nuts as well. And then we go to the phenolic compounds. So with that, people should really take quite a lot of quercetin, not so much as a supplement, but as apple, onions, and catechin-rich also ingredients such as cacao, green tea. Every morning I have 2 cups of green tea. I love it, Green tea is my thing. I don't get bothered by the caffeine there at all, but the polyphenols in it, the phytochemicals in it, the anti-aging properties in it are great advantage for me, And I know I know about my skin, that at my age, my skin is super plump and it's the food. People ask me, and unlike you, I don't understand what to buy anymore from the shop to put on the outside. I can't. I'm confused. It's a minefield. I refuse to spend the money. I have no problem. I'll spend the money. I'm not convinced. But what I'm convinced of is this feeding from within. For me, the skin is a bonus. For me, the beauty is a bonus. I don't look to be beautiful. I want to be beautiful on the inside. I want to march through life to be strong. I want to reach 80 and to be like in my 60s, just like I'm in my quite nearly 60s now, but I'm literally 30s, 40s.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Now, about eating internally, we were talking before this about bone broth, collagen. I take my own powdered collagen. I make my own powdered collagen just because I travel so much. I'm not able to always make my own bone broth. And I decided to put it with cacao and non-Dutched cacao. Now, non-Dutched, when you Dutch it, it takes away the bitterness. And most commercially available cacao powder is Dutched because it takes away the bitterness, easier to blend with things. But the problem is you take away 70% of all the antioxidants that are in cacao. So cacao is a superfood. But I want to get back to collagen. And I make my own bone broth when I'm at home. And I usually let it boil for about 24 hours. And it is collagen rich. It just doesn't taste good. So I want to know how Chef Silvena does her bone broth, how many hours she boils it for, and what spices or things you use in it just to make it taste better.
See, first of all, the most important thing when you actually procure your bones, they have to be organic. It's non-negotiable, organic. And here in Dubai, extremely difficult to get organic.
I get it from the organic market. I tell them to call me up when they get their bones in.
The problem there is that they're not bone marrow. I know the ones you mean. That is the problem. So I, luckily, through the restaurant system, I have suppliers. I pay through the nose for this bone because they get flown from Holland. My goodness, it's crazy. But I like the bone marrow. I love bone marrow. I love it. So what I do, I put combinations of ingredients in there. It's not just the bones. These bones you mentioned are great. They're very expensive as well. So we are now going into a field of elitism here. And I'm sorry, I am sorry to be doing that. But if you live abroad, like in England, for example, in London, I get them free of charge. My daughter gives them to me and they're good. So here in Dubai, these things are expensive. So I get them, I then mix them with, what is really great to do is chicken feet because it gives you an amazing amount of jelly,
Now, chicken feet might not look sexy.
But you don't need them. You throw them away after
exactly.
that, You throw them away. I also look for bones with cartilage, And then the marrow I love because the taste of the marrow, the oil of the marrow for me is phenomenal. I don't like fat so much, but the marrow, ooh, I love it, So then I do this, and I do it about 6 hours, so don't do 24 hours. That's unless you do jus, then it's different. So you see, if you put all this, and then a lot of aromatics. Now, in my case, the most important things are onions, of course, organic, because here it's easy. We have amazing organic onions. I go for white onions, celery without the leaves because they bring bitterness, and carrots, 3 things. And then I put 2 tomatoes for sweetness. I like the tomato. The tomato gives a wonderful sweetness. Then I put bay leaf. I put ton of rosemary, ton of thyme. Everything that in the kitchen I got the leaves off, I put the sticks, and the sticks actually have amazing aromas.
Parsley, coriander sticks.
They are a little bit less potent than the hard, so try and put hard herbs in there. But if you have parsley, by all means, put the parsley as well.
Give us example of hard herbs.
Rosemary, thyme.
Now, I want to say that rosemary is very good for your brain, very good for your memory. It is one of those longevity herbs, and so is thyme. Thyme is very good, again, for the brain, mood, but also for your respiratory and immune system.
And they're tremendous antioxidants. If you do not have money, if you are a little bit financially, tight, don't worry about buying expensive tea. Makes everyday sage, rosemary, or thyme tea. And they are the best. We have something in Bulgaria, like they do in Greece or in Turkey, because I'm half Turkish, my father is Turkish. They have something called mountain tea. And it's amazing, and I do this a lot.
So what is mountain tea? Because I had it in Greece, and I had it
herbs, wild herbs. Whatever is there, whatever is native there. So if it's thyme, it's thyme. If it's sage, it's sage. Sometimes it's oregano. Oregano is another tough herb that you put in. So in a breast, you have to put the hard herbs. Don't put peppers, don't put courgettes, don't put potatoes, haliwali. That is not important because they have nothing good to give you for that. So, and always throw away the vegetables because you've taken all the goodness out of the vegetables. You can't use it for anything, So I do that. But what I also do, in the last, once you finish, drain it.
Yeah.
And in the last 10 minutes of cooking, you add freshly grated turmeric. It's very important, but only in the last 10 minutes because you want the goodness of the turmeric, not before. And fresh is good. If you can't get your hands at fresh roots, then an hour's turmeric and ginger, non-negotiable, have to be organic.
Yes.
Don't buy from China, So then you add it in the last minute. Lots of pepper as well because of the bioavailability and all that. I do believe this. I hear lots of conflicting stories, but I do believe that pepper and turmeric go very well together, season nicely. And then what I do, I usually, when I do it condensed, I reduce it very low, so it becomes like a jelly. So I put it in a big tray, and it's such a thick jelly that I cut it in small squares and small cubes that I either keep in the freezer is okay as well. And then you take 1 cube and put it, say, half a liter of water, and you have an amazing broth. So this is a good tip because you don't have to, sometimes when I'm lazy, I just put it in Ziplockers or in boxes, glass boxes, I would say. Most of the time now I've stopped using Ziplockers and put it in the freezer. So I always have it handy, but it's a messy job, messy job, especially if you do the bone marrow. And then I take the marrow out, and I have it with my soup. Oh, it's the best thing. I love it. But it's a food. It's a meal.
It is. It's a meal, and it's very nourishing, and it's very good for the whole family, from young ones to older ones. Now, since a lot of our followers are really interested in skincare and beauty, how does what we eat affect our skin and overall beauty? It does, as you mentioned, that you don't eat for your skin, you don't eat for your beauty. It's just because when you eat healthy, your skin will glow anyway. But what are, for you, the main herbs or foods that you would say really benefit the skin?
I would say, before I stay with that, before I concentrate on that, I would say something very important that people need to realize is not a quick fix.
Yeah.
It takes time, but once you build it up, it stays with you. And I noticed that through trial and error. I began to eat the right foods by mistake, because I wanted to feed my gut, I wanted to feed my brain. I never wanted to experience memory loss or brain fog. So, and then I realized my skin is super plump. All my girlfriends are younger than you even, Lamees,
Yeah.
So they're all really young. And I look at their skin, I think, oh, this does not look good, not like mine. It's already very thin. The lines appear already, and you think, oh my goodness. And yes, I do Botox, I do lasers, but lasers are collagen reviving, so it's nothing. Fillers, I do not touch. I used to. I cleaned, they die eventually. I cleaned years ago. I don't touch them because they're such a wonderful quick fix. No. I don't want to look like a hamster. So remember, start giving yourself time. It's 6 months to maybe 8 months, but it does. So, for example, again, we go to the marvelous, magical, miraculous blueberry. It is the blueberry. The blueberry has, and it is the blueberry, and the blueberry alone. Then the bone broth, very important as a collagen intake. Then for me, the broccoli sprouts. The broccoli sprouts for me work on so many fronts. They work on my gut. They clean my cellular potential cancerous cells. We know that they are so rich in sulforaphane. They are the richest source of sulforaphane. And sulforaphane is known to be actually eradicator of potential cancerous cell activities in the body. And it is now proven, it is known, very well known, that at the very, very early stages of cancer, if you go to this particular strong plant-based diet, now, if you have this condition, you do really need to be looking at 60 to 70 different plants a week, plus the broccoli sprouts, plus the advice from the doctor, of course. I'm not a doctor, but I would tell you this in a way of functional integration, nutritional elements to everything what the doctor tells you. In other words, let's try and avoid doctors. I love doctors. I love conventional medicine.
But you just don't want to see them in their clinics.
Yes, to see if we also relieve them from ourselves, because they're overloaded. See what happened in COVID. People are overloaded. If we manage to relieve them, to actually, you take care of yourself the way you eat, and occasionally go to the functional medicine doctor only, who is still a proper doctor, let's be honest. That is the best scenario. So,
basically, what you like for skin, you said berries.
Yes, so berries, broccoli sprouts, pomegranate is very good, and lots of vitamin C. Vitamin C of every sort, and I hydrate. And coconut. Coconut water is amazing because it's a natural electrolyte. Yeah. But we're very lucky here. I know in the continent it's very difficult and expensive.
Yes, yeah.
And in my newly soon to open the dose by Silvena in Ibiza, we managed to procure amazing coconuts because I want the coconuts there. What I do in Dubai, I want to do in Ibiza. I want to blow their minds.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And if you're in Ibiza this summer?
Yes, in July, we're opening our wellness, holistic, the dose by Silvena, which is very rich in adaptogens.
Yeah.
This is where the tinctures are coming now.
Now, you were telling me, what are you doing? Coffee with reishi?
So we have a very extensive drinks menu. We will have items that will be elevated. They will be supercharged with tinctures of, say, changa mushroom, lion's mane mushroom. Also rhodiola. I love rhodiola. Rhodiola, I'm very hot on rhodiola. Rhodiola is part of my diet, big time.
My children are all on rhodiola because kids are under a lot of stress.
In what form?
In form of during COVID is when I started them on it. They weren't seeing their friends. There wasn't this social interaction, and they didn't know what was happening in the world. And also when they're doing their finals, I give it to them. Rhodiola is great because it's a mood enhancer. It helps you concentrate, and it's an adaptogen to stress. Kids are not meditating, right? And I'm trying to get them to meditate. They won't. So I give them rhodiola, and they love it. It takes the edge off things.
Do you give it in what form? In a pill form? In a supplement? How do you give it to them?
I give it to them. It's a liquid pill.
Okay.
So that's how I give it.
Well, I found this farm. So it's a farm. They produce organic rhodiola, and they make these tinctures for me. And I love the drops. Easy, nice and easy. But the way I take it, I see in Turkey, the best kept secret, an amazing herbalist. Also in Bulgaria, a woman that when she dies, all these secrets will die with her. It's real magic, So I get the herbs themselves, and the herbs are amazing. Rhodiola is very bitter, I have to say, very bitter, but rhodiola, it's one of the most prolific longevity herbs. Rhodiola, it's number one. Again, caution not to be overused and overtaken. So with the tinctures works very well. Also yarrow tincture.
I take yarrow. Oh, I do yarrow tea. I have it in my kitchen. I'll show you. Yarrow is especially good for females. Males can take it, of course, but if you're a female, I think you should be drinking yarrow.
I mean, to be honest with you, I will be doing these drinks because people there on the island, they like to party. So we want to give them more energy, or we want to give them calmness or stress relief. We have a lot of gut health, immune health. We have sour cherry tinctures. We have chamomile tincture. The chamomile tincture for me, it's amazing. Why? Because chamomile tea is great, but you should not be taken at night because it's a diuretic.
You go to the bathroom.
More than anything. Not with any tea, but with chamomile tea particularly. And when they start taking tea, they say, oh, you should take it to calm you down. No, it makes you go even more. So a tincture works its way. I have an intolerance to mushrooms. And mushrooms are such, it's just, my father had it. And funny enough, it started appearing, it started manifesting itself in me about 5-6 years ago. So I can't eat it. It's not an allergy. It's just like, it's just a dislike. But when I take the concentrated cordyceps, amazing, 2-3 drops, amazing. So I like that because I know how prolific mushrooms are. Of course, let's just tell our viewers, you don't have to do all this. We're just introducing you to so many different things. Pick and choose. Whatever you can find is a good thing. And there's no side effects.
I think it's important to make herbal tea as part of your daily routine. And as Silvena said, it doesn't have to be everything we've mentioned. But yeah, and you can change, every few weeks, do something else. You mentioned milk thistle, right? I love milk thistle. And a lot of teenagers, people with acne, I give them milk thistle tincture because it's an anti-inflammatory and it's very good at treating acne, and it's a liver support as well. Some other herbal teas I think that are important for skin is dandelion, stinging nettles. I think nuts, seeds are very important for skin as well. And I totally agree with you. It is the collagen and it is the vitamin C that is really important for plumping the skin.
I believe that the problems in skin, whether they're teenagers or whether they're adults, the problem starts with the liver health and very much with the gut health. And so if we manage to cleanse the liver and the gut, and all this dandelion, milk thistles, rhodiola, they help the liver as well. They relieve the liver. I'm on a very strict diet once every 6 months that includes various different natural senolytics. Now, what is senolytics? I can explain, but I'll let Dr. Hamdan say. Senolytics are compounds, I'll just say it briefly, that I can't understand it. They're compounds, they're molecules that we take in our body to actually cleanse the zombie, the bad cells, the cells that no longer serves us. This is how I say it in my simple, non-doctor way.
It's basically like what you do when you fast. It is cells that no longer serve a purpose, but actually cause a lot of damage, a lot of inflammation. And they're called, as you said, zombie cells. And the West is now looking into things that actually relieve the body of these zombie cells. And one thing you can do, if you don't know how to do it through herbs or through food, is fasting. Fasting is one of the easiest ways to do that.
I love fasting. I fast a lot. I just love it. That I don't see that I get like all particularly phenomenal and high flying because I live a life that this energy is always there, alhamdulillah, But like, it's so good for me. It's so good for my figure. It's so good for my energy levels, and I do a lot of sport. So I can still do sport even fasting. Even in Ramadan, I don't take suhoor. I eat only once or every 24 hours. And I still do sport. I cannot do sport. And it's still amazing, So it works. So basically, there's a lot of things people can do and adopt to change. But the thing is baby steps. Start slowly. Start small. The question is to start. And don't think that you can eat out. You can eat out. And out you have got control. You eat in the most expensive restaurants, even Michelin star restaurants, they use seed oils. They use cream, they use butter, they use all these things that load you so much.
But you mentioned the 80-20 rule. If you're good and you eat healthy 80% of the time, that 20%. But I think it's important what you just mentioned. It's the mental connection as well. You said, when I eat, I am mentally with my food. You do not want to eat something and feel bad. Stop eating it. It's important that if you're going to have a brownie, if you're going to have a chocolate chip cookie, have it knowing that it's a chocolate chip cookie and you're going to enjoy it. And that, yes, it might not be the healthiest thing for you, but it is like a treat, something you are going to do and something you're going to enjoy, and that's it. Why do we eat things and then feel bad about it? Don't. Eat it, enjoy it, go back to your routine. Go back to your healthy eating.
See, there isn't a lot coming here, part of the fact that I absolutely adore you, I aspire to you, I love everything that you say. I just love it. For me, it's like a fairy tale. You know, for most people, I would imagine it's like a fairy tale, but it's a fairy tale that you can actually be part of, you know? And collagen, it's a vital protein. It consists 1/3 of our total protein of the body. And for me, collagen is not your beauty. Yeah, I mean, beauty is very important, but I want people in the chef to be beautiful from the inside, beautiful in the sense of healthy, because this beauty will make you be longer around your children and grandchildren. And when we think of it, collagen is the building block for skin, bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, everything, you know. And it's incredible how when people get older, crack this, that, then you have sarcopenia. Am I pronouncing it correctly? The muscle deterioration.
Osteoporosis.
That's osteoporosis, but no, sarcopenia is the muscle illness. You know, I may not pronouncing correctly, but it's when your
Sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia, that's right. That's why I'm not a doctor. So you see, sarcopenia, when your muscle begins to wilt, literally, you know. So if you are in collagen, muscles will suffer, bones will suffer. You then become like a grumble. You're not a person anymore. And why people are beginning to walk, hunch down, because again, they don't have this poise. The poise is not just from here, it's literally the building block. So that's why for me, collagen is so important. And again, if it gives me this glow, if it gives me this plump, amazing, alhamdulillah skin, wow, that's an amazing side effect.
I will say that there are lots of even men who do weight training and eat a lot of protein. Now, the protein we used to eat a long time ago, we used to eat every single part of the animal. We used to eat the hoofs. We used to eat the inside, the marrow. And that was very collagen rich. Nowadays, when people say, oh, I eat protein, they do eat protein, but it's the meat. So where's the collagen? Even men who eat a lot of meat, a lot of protein, don't have enough collagen. And I like the way you said it's not just for the skin, because when I formulated my cocoa collagen, I put maca, and maca is an amazing adaptogen, gives you lots of energy, but it also is very lubricating. So it's lubricating for your skin and lubricating for your joints as well. And if you're in the perimenopause, menopause stage, it's very lubricating also, in your sexual organs. So, and it's very good for men as well. It's good for giving men energy and increases libido, increases lubrication. So I put maca, I put turmeric. Turmeric is one of the things that you love using as well. Black pepper to help the absorption of turmeric, and cacao powder. People don't realize what a superfood cacao powder is. It helps your body produce nitric oxide. It helps with skin. It helps as an antioxidant. It lowers your blood pressure. It lowers your cholesterol. It helps with weight management because it also helps with blood sugar metabolism. So I can talk to you for ages, and I'm so happy you're finally opening a clinic here, because for me as an integrative medical doctor, nutrition is a huge part of healing through food. And it's a huge part of lifestyle medicine.
You see, I dare say, and it's not a secret, that the biggest problem now for women, we women, we have 3 vital hormones: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And men only want testosterone, so matters are much simpler there, So what is happening as of lately, women enter perimenopause in their late 30s, early 40s. Alhamdulillah, for me, it's been amazing. It literally should be like our older generation women were, mothers and grandmothers were 55 plus. You don't want it over 60 either. It's like the other spectrum. But nowadays, there's problems with fertility. Yeah. There's so many problems with female hormones. So if we address the way we eat, we address the health of our hormones. So literally, you have to eat for your hormones, period. And the earlier you understand, do you know how many girlfriends I have in their mid-30s without a boyfriend, without a single? They're all freezing their eggs now. Yeah. Freezing their eggs, why? Because they see the writing on the wall, too late. So I want to say a few foods that have collagen, because when we talk about collagen, we also need to touch on the base, in my opinion, on the bioavailability. Yes. How your body accepts it, how it, and with food, we know how we react to food, because we know our body, we are our own best medicine, and our own best medicine doctor we are to ourselves. So we touched the bone broth. We said, so this is full of amino acids, and amino acids are very important for collagen production. So when I eat, I try to eat food that's very rich in amino acids. So if you don't remember what I'm going to say, go on the internet, put amino acids rich foods and go for it, So fish and shellfish as well. And then you have the whole smashed fish. Here, caution, heavy metals. I literally stop eating sushi. I don't eat sushi. I'm too afraid, literally. And you know what? Because I know how rich it is in heavy metals, I can go on off the flavor of raw fish. I used to eat it. Now I don't want it. I don't care where it came from. I don't want it. Very, very, very big problem for me, because I believe that most of the fish now is super loaded with heavy metals, just the way everything. Chicken has a type 2 collagen, for example. So I think they're over 20, exactly, but 1 to 4 are the most prevalent ones in the body, right?
Yeah, especially type 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. So chicken, I think it's type 2. Then beef is type 1 and 3. Yeah, see? Egg whites, very important, egg whites. And I cook for a certain highness here, no names mentioned, that it's very strong on egg whites. So all my desserts are very difficult, because I have to make desserts with no egg yolk. Now, how do you do that, So because of the whole situation, citrus, berries, garlic, dairy, cashews, and oysters. These are just some of the foods that are very rich on this amazing amino acids. And basically, if you supplement, then I want to say a warning here, with your permission. It's a minefield out there. Collagen. I get approached once, twice a month by people that bring collagen. Now, I will say, I'm not going to say the brand, but there is this very dangerous brand in this country that everybody partakes. There is no scrutiny. It is, I don't know, am I allowed to say where it's produced? It's produced in a dubious country where there is no at all any way of screening where it came from, what it is. It's full of dubious ingredients, and everybody wallops it. They eat it like that with a spoonful, just because they made an amazing marketing. They're making, good for them, they're making so much money. But it's not that bothers me. It bothers me that you're filling yourself up with something that actually can be dangerous for you. So I'm glad that you come with something, because knowing your integrity, I just know it's going to be the right product.
Because I use it myself, my children use it. It's really important that, I think with all supplements and with all herbs, just like with all bone broth ingredients, you have to know where it comes from. It has to be clean. It has to be organic. Like we use marine transparent, the marine collagen we use in our cocoa collagen comes from wild caught fish. So it's just, I know what you mean. A lot of people with everything. I mean, with foods.
No, this particular brand, it's I will tell privately to you.
I think I know which one I think I know which one you
It says I take it. They all say I take it. Yeah. Do they take it? Do they not? You say you take it, but this is not enough. I'm sorry. You have to really, you're a doctor. You need to go into the nitty-gritty and say this, and this, because people listen to doctors. Yeah. They love to listen to me. That's why I decided I had to become a coach, to attach myself to a doctor so that I'm a lot more credible, because I'm a chef. People say, "Oh, chef, how do you manage chef?"
No, but you're a chef, but you also have a integrative nutritional coach diploma, and you've got
They see me how I look. They want. This is what I tell you. You need
are
to walk
you
the
are
talk.
yes,
You
you
need
do.
to walk your walk.
And not just that, I will say that just before we end, because I could talk to you for ages, there are a lot of people who eat clean like 100% of the time, and then 2 years on, they've got thyroid issues, they've got cancer, they've got that. And I'm like, where's this clean living taking you? You have been relying too much and pushing your body too hard. Everything is in moderation.
Yeah.
You know, nothing is inherently bad. Very few things are inherently bad. But when taken in the correct dose, that's why I love your name, The Dose by Silvena, because it's true. Things have to be dosed. If you take sage and you drink like flask full of, every single day, 2 liters of sage tea, that's a bit too much. You should be having 1 or 2 cups, just like coffee. Too much. You can go too much on a good thing. Everything should be dosed in the appropriate manner.
And just to mention, maybe for you viewers to know, I also called very prestigious, very eloquent bioharmonizing, not biohacking, bioharmonizing retreats, one of which is in St. Moritz in Switzerland. And we have one coming in September, where we connect with doctors, functional medicine doctors, and we do all sorts of DNA work, which is very light. It's not clinical, you see. If you go to a clinic, it's amazing, it's marvelous, but then you go back to your normal life and all the benefits are lost. Here, it's more like day-to-day, how we live our life. So maybe they'll be interested to connect with me.
It's been so enlightening and so exciting to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the tips and tricks that you've given us. And we've got something very special for you. Chef Silvena is going to show us how to make collagen ice cream, collagen pops. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lamees. Thank you.